eliminated from the Challenge Cup. For Darryl Powell's side, it's about regaining some traction for the remainder of the season to be in a position to challenge in the playoffs. For Leeds now, surely, trophies beyond them. It is about survival. Chris Kendall is the referee, squinting into the sunshine, and Ben Thaler is the video ref. It's all clear. The pitch is clear. We're ready to go. And Leeds get us underway with a hanging kickoff, which drops into the hands of James Clare and then into the hands of Mike McMeekin. And there was a little concern for the Castleford Tigers before kickoff when Mike McMeekin seemed to pull up with a bit of a knock, Terry.
Yeah, it looked like he picked someone who's running into a shield, and all of a sudden he went down. There was a call for the physio to come over and just check him out, so it's going to be interesting to see if Mike McMeekin can get through this game.
If you're talking about recoveries, what about the recovery that Jesse Seni-Lefeo has made? Nice short pass there from Castleford. Jesse Seni-Lefeo, 3 weeks out with a separated shoulder.
Yeah, his return is a big boost as Liam Watts goes on the rampage. And that was Seni-Lefeo trying to offload. It does come up for Paul McShane.
Well, Bill, that's what you get when you play against Castleford. You offload the ball more than any other team in Super League. So when you go into contact, you've got to make sure that you stick.
Truman on the fifth with the kick into the corner, and Tui Lolahea is underneath it. He's underneath that tackle from Peter Metalgia very swiftly.
Well, a good start to the game for Castleford, made 90 metres then on the back of that kick. They are a team that like to get off the line. They really do restrict the yardage.
He's down in back play, Lolahea. He took a heavy knock. It was fullback on fullback. When they made that tackle, he got up slowly. They give that shake of the head that players sometimes do. He's getting some attention from the physio now.
Petteru was having some attention as well. So they've picked up a couple of knocks in the opening minutes of the Leeds Rhinos. As Merrin plays the ball, and young Callum McClellan hoists that kick, but it's straight into the arms of Peter Metaltia, this 28-year-old fullback making his 23rd consecutive appearance.
We get a good look at two of the best, potentially the best young halfbacks in the game. Jake Truman and Callum McLennan, as they were coming through the system. He's Castleford born and bred, McLennan, so for him playing against his former halfback partner, we'll see how that unfolds.
Here is Chase Blair. It's been an interesting start to life in Super League for their recruit from Melbourne Storm, Jesse Seni-Lefeo now. Just back in the side, came back for the cup tie against Hull. In the Leeds half, 40-metre line, Metaltia as McMeekin gives the pass, and Minikin is quickly swamped by Leeds defenders. So the kick from Truman, not a bad one, into the corner, but comfortably dealt with by Lolahea.
He's not moving right at all. I watched him during that last play when Castleford moved the ball to their right. He was limping his way into position, Lolahea. Luckily for the Rhinos, the high kick went straight to him.
Darryl Powell, the side starting this game with purpose. Lolahea, ankle the problem.
Well, because they haven't got any backs on the bench, you'd imagine that like Liam Sutcliffe could go to fullback if he does have to leave the field. Trent Merrin with an offload here, gets it to Brad Singleton.
Here's McClellan now. 19 years of age, the crowd like that, and then he's the victim of a high tackle. And Leeds take exception to that.
I've watched him a few times this year. He is a runner. When he goes at the line, he's not bothered how big those players are in front of him. He goes at Liam Watts. He gives the penalty away. That won't stop that Callum McLennan doing that again.
So that's a useful penalty for Leeds. Gives them some territory. Now then, here's Brad Dwyer. Petteru spins away nicely from the first of the defenders.
I thought he was one of the few players last week against Bradford that rolled his sleeves up, did his job as best he could, and he certainly looked to have picked up where he left off last week.
Cameron Smith now. And Leeds assessing the options. Merrin hoping to get the ball away for an offload, but Millington had him all wrapped up. Here goes Dwyer. Dwyer, little scampering run. Petteru.
He was waiting for Brad Dwyer to come back around him, wasn't he? But Brad Dwyer was saying, no, go on, lad.
Bit of ring of roses there. Here's Callum Watkins, but Sonny Lefeo and co, McShane, Truman with the tackle. Dwyer puts a little kick in, but it's snapped up.
Well, he sees that space, but he just can't get it behind the defensive line, can he? Jake Truman aware of that threat. Grant Millington with a good bump off.
Great run from Millington.
They're not bothered where they throw the ball around down in Castleford. They'll shift the ball from one side of the field to the other.
Now here's Greg Eden, maybe with a point to prove. Had a shaky game on his last appearance for the Castleford Tigers, and then was left out for the cup tie against Hull.
Outside.
McShane puts
Early kick.
a good kick in, deep, and Briscoe has to go back and retrieve it.
Early kick from Castleford. They did incredibly well. They were virtually on their own line. A couple of offloads, a couple of smart passes. You see Lola here at the back of your picture again, trying to get some strapping, trying to deal with that foot, ankle.
Strapping the boot on now, aren't they?
So Leeds, with their full-back out of action at the moment, as Ash Handley plays the ball. Is Harry Newman.
Well, they'll make it easier for the full-back if he is to get through this game. Were they turn the ball over? Kick long, chase hard, trap Castleford down near their own line, but again, don't switch off when Cass are near their own line, because again, they will look to shift it.
Myler lobs that one up into the air. Matautia comes and claims it, gets away from the first
Brad Dwyer offside. You're offside,
defender, and then Leeds are offside, says referee Chris Kendall.
It's the time he's run.
Brad Dwyer, the referee's not happy with. He passes the ball. He's half a metre in front of the kicker. Richie Myler over on that side. Small things, small margins, and that little bit of indiscipline during that Bradford match in the Cup. There were all kinds of cardinal sins, giving penalties away when they had the ball, giving penalties away when they'd made mistakes. So those Leeds Rhinos mistakes and penalties, they want to clear those up.
Jesse Sonny Lefeo with real strength, getting to his feet to play that ball. Castleford Tigers getting some momentum here as Massey similarly gets a quick play the ball. Then Watts moves at pace. The step from the fullback, Matautia. Corey Aston now. Millington. This time Leeds get a hold of him. McClelland in there, punching above his weight, the 19-year-old. McShane on the last. Little kick comes in, sits up nicely for Lola here.
Well, Cass quite content to try and build the pressure, kicking it into the corner, cramming those defenders in nice and tight, and then flying off the line and trying to really intimidate Leeds Rhinos, whoever's carrying the ball away from the line.
Tackle two, potential
Well, the referee rightly stops the game there because Grant Millington's injured behind. We've seen incidents where the player's been allowed to go on a player line behind, the ball's hit him and they conceded a penalty, but the referee, in fact, just...
He goes in low, doesn't he, Phil, on one of the tackles. I think here it is. He ends up on the hip, head on the wrong side of the tackle, ends up at the back of the play of the ball. A full-blooded, wholehearted player, Grant Millington. The referee and the medical staff of the Tigers are happy with him.
Over 250 career appearances, Millington. But he's missed 4 games in recent weeks. There he is again, involved in the tackle. Leeds nudging their way forward. Petteru, South Stand below us, appreciating his efforts. Myler kicks long, deep into the arms of Matautia. Now Greg Eden.
I think, Bill, when you look at rugby league, most teams get confident when they have the ball. Everyone wants to attack, but it's what you do when you're defending. You've got to make sure that you build that confidence on the other side of the game. If you think that nobody can get through your line when you have the ball and you do earn the right to play, you play with a different attitude.
just up to the halfway line.
Brad Dwyer, go free.
The sun's setting on
Nathan, square
this game at Emerald Headingley behind the backs of the Castleford Tigers as they move upfield with Jesse Senilafeo. Here is McShane going down the short side.
Move down.
Myler with a good tackle on Jake Truman. Little kick comes in, and Lollahea, who seems to be over that problem, claims it and brings it back.
Well, you can't fault his commitment. He's obviously hampered by that ankle. He's limping around all over the place, but he committed to that. He committed to that catch.
Oh, you spoke too soon.
Yeah, there you go. So I think Tezzy's right. I think what might happen is Liam Sutcliffe might go and play fullback. Liam Sutcliffe, my God, he plays centre, standoff, second row, loose forward, and now he's at fullback. Having an identity crisis.
Crisis is the word, and that's a stray pass from Dwyer.
Lost. Good reaction.
Leeds looking a little bit in disarray there.
Well, John Wilkin talked about the mistakes that they made last week against Bradford. 10 mistakes in that first half, and when Brad Dwyer goes across, he's looking for Callum Watkins to get on the outside of Castleford, who he just tries to cut back underneath him. Good experience, Callum Watkins.
Loose head in, stay close, Jack.
Hey, look at his stats from last week. Callum Watkins, 45 tackles in that game against Bradford. I've never known him make that in 2 games, let alone 1.
Here is Millington.
Back up. Wait, Brad. Wait, go on.
Lollahea then picking up that injury very early in proceedings. More disruption for the Rhinos, but that's good defence on Nathan Massey. Intent there.
That's exactly what Leeds have needed from the start of this season. More of that, winning more of the collisions. They've lost too many in their own line. Nice offload here. Castleford prepared to keep the ball alive, take some risks and entertain here tonight.
Matautia, McMeekin toying with the Leeds defenders, gets away from Cameron Smith. Millington playing basketball over the top to McMeekin. McMeekin has got the ball in one hand. Eventually he is stopped. Merrin with the tackle, but they're about 30 metres out at the moment as Watts goes right up the middle and keeps going up the middle. Now they're 10 metres out, bang in front of those posts. McShane looks right, goes to his left, and the ball for Jesse Senilafeo ricochets away.
Well, the no-look pass, wasn't it, from Jake Truman? There was men lining up out the back, but he decides to hit that lead runner, and that lead runner's Jesse Senny. Oh, he's got some attention. You can see out wide. There's 3 players on one Leeds Rhinos defender. They've missed an opportunity then, Cass.
Ash Handley then. Sutcliffe. Here's Watkins. So a problem early on for the Leeds Rhinos, with Tui Lollahea, their full-back, off the field. James Donaldson has come on in his absence. Here is Handley going across the field once again. Cameron Smith, a lovely offload straight up the middle. Here is Liam Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe is brought down. Oh, and it was a good tackle from Truman.
Jake Truman, the tackle had been made, and he strips that ball. Wonderful support play from the stand-in fullback, Liam Sutcliffe. He is a versatile player. It's his strength and his weakness. He never, or he hasn't actually nailed down one specific position, but he was in the right place at the right time, and his side benefit from a penalty.
Tackle completed there.
Well, the ball carrying arm of the ball wasn't on the ground, so he's perfectly entitled to play that ball. You know, it could have been seen as a one-on-one ball steal there. The tackle wasn't complete.
What about this offload, though, from Cameron Smith? He offloads it to...
Clever playing. That's good play too by the standoff. He's penalised there, but official makes a mistake and they probably go 2 behind.
And when you look at Leeds Rhinos, you look at Trent Merrin. Trent Merrin is the player that does offload that ball. But that offload from Cameron Smith, to give it to that man when he goes through, I think he's got an awful lot of ability, hasn't he, Liam Sutcliffe? Like Barry says, so versatile, covering an awful lot of positions. But he was on the end of that offload.
Truman can feel hard done by, especially as Liam Sutcliffe is likely to benefit to the tune of 2 points. First points of the game go to the Leeds Rhinos. 14 minutes gone. Leeds 2, the Castleford Tigers 0. Tui Lolohea on the sidelines. Let's get news of his situation from Angela Powers.
Yeah, we did see him limping earlier on, didn't we, Bill? They gave him some running repairs and some strapping on the pitch and hoped he'd be able to run it off, but unfortunately he's not being able to. You can see it there, really twisted underneath his body there. They're giving him some proper strapping now and a little bit of a rest, but they are hopeful he'll be back on the pitch later.
So that's disruption for the Rhinos, but the stand-in fullback has put them in the lead. Sutcliffe with that penalty, 2-0.
Well, the Rhinos now need that willingness to work. Whether Lolohea gets back onto the field, it could restrict those substitutions comes the back end of the game. Work hard, try and get over the top of the likes of Watts and Jesse Seni-Lefeo. It's easier said than done, though.
And more importantly for the Leeds Rhinos, they made that mistake. Brad Dwyer and Callum Watkins came up with a mistake. They defended that set of 6 and ended up, after possession, earned a penalty, and they get the first points of the game.
Castleford Tigers looking to end the 4-game losing streak. Darryl Powell has never lost 5 in a row in the same season during his 6 years as coach of Castleford Tigers. He has lost 3 and 3, end of one season, start of another. But lovely break from Matautia. Now Matautia's left Sutcliffe behind, and Briscoe comes through, overshoots, and eventually the cavalry arrives.
That was a dreadful kick from Leeds, right into the hands of Castleford, and that's what they do. They convert and transition straight from defence into attack. And look at that guy motoring onto the ball. And Matautia gets 30-40 metres, and they're in good field position, Cass, now.
3 tackles gone. And here's Massey. Up the middle of the field. McShane, Millington, on to Truman. Truman to Matautia. Matautia gets away from Myler. The ball to Chase Blair. Blair can't make much progress. Singleton among the tacklers. Now Truman shapes to kick, and then a little grubber from him. Truman pursues, the ball's still loose and comes up for Myler.
The offside.
The referee says he was offside.
Yeah, well, Brad Dwyer, when he shot the line, all of a sudden I think it's Jake Truman who steps back, spots that space, kicks it through, and then you can see the ball comes off Callum Watkins, then it goes forward. And Cassé, will they keep the pressure on? Will they go for 2 points?
Paul.
Taking the time, making the decision.
I think they're going to tap it, aren't they? Look at the shape of them.
Well, this is where Leeds have been weakest. This is their Achilles heel, defending their own try line. The first time, 70 minutes into this game, they're asked to do it.
And McShane tries it. Seni-Lefeo does it. Has he got that ball down? He has, says Chris Kendall. And Phil Clark predicted it. And the Castleford Tigers exploited it. Jesse Seni-Lefeo gets his 5th Super League try of the season from that penalty.
Well, even though they've lost the last 4 games, they'll still take the chances, won't they? Look at that, Richie Myler offside, the ball comes forward from Callum Watkins. On the second play, Jesse Seni gets over. Does he ground the ball? First of all, it's not down there. Still hasn't got it down there. And then I think, does he manage to get the ball down there? I think he manages in the end to ground that ball.
I agree, says he has a couple of goals and it doesn't. It's some wonderful work from Paul McShane, just drawing in the defenders, opening up the space for Jesse Seni-Lefeo to go through. He was on his back, and the crowd and the fans don't like it, but that's a try.
It was third time lucky, wasn't he? He had to twist and turn on the third attempt. He did put the ball under the armpit, didn't he, when it came down? The Leeds fans had already given up the hope by that point. They thought the referee was wrong, but this is again Leeds' problem. Over 70% of the tries they've scored have been when their opponents have played the ball within 10 metres of that try line. That's by far the worst of any team in this competition. They can't defend near their own line, and it's the reason why they're 6 behind.
Metaltia has converted that try, which the Leeds supporters don't believe was a try, but Stewart, he got that down.
Yeah, he doesn't get it down the first time, but it's down at that point there. It's on the ground, clearly on the ground there. And Chris Kendall could see that and awarded it straight away.
And Jesse Seni-Lefeo could see it in the screen.
I'm pretty sure that's the shoulder he dislocated as well. He looks like he's got some kind of contraption, some kind of shoulder strap to keep his, or to prevent and restrict the movement in that left shoulder, but he did remarkably well to get that ball down, and they absorbed all that pressure. It looked like the Rhinos had the momentum, and you would say of the opening quarter, the Rhinos have had a good look. It's probably been played in the middle of the field, and whenever Leeds have got near, they've looked threatening, but ultimately, and more importantly, when Castleford got down there, they've got over the try line.
Jesse Seni-Lefeo did that shoulder injury with the try he scored against Wakefield last time, his last try. St Helens against Salford is on Sky Sports Arena tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. And a Saturday massive game in Barcelona. Catalan Dragons against the Wigan Warriors, 3:15 for that one on Arena. All the action from the new camp. Here, the Castleford Tigers have taken a 6-2 lead with a quarter of the game virtually gone. And here is Nathan Massey. Now Grant Millington.
Just a nice little power set here from the cast forwards, running onto the ball, footwork at the line. He's always got that overs line, hasn't he, Liam Watts? Gets on the outside of the tight three defenders either side of the ruck, looks to offload that ball, needs that push-up and support with him.
Ever present this season for the Castleford Tigers, Liam Watson's ever present in the entire game as well.
Ever present in big minutes, you're right.
Well, that's mistake again up for Jesse Seni-Lefeo. He's just short of the try line. Leeds not able to handle. And another penalty. It's Richie Myler trying to just delay the inevitable, probably.
Well, testing out Sutcliffe, and then the hit from Blur forces the mistake. Jesse Seni-Lefeo, he thinks that he's going to be in for his second. I think the initial contact from Tom Briscoe was just enough to stop him from getting over the try line.
But Leeds again on the back foot.
And when you're not used to winning, Bill, and you're at the bottom end of the table, you're very nervous in these situations.
So Castleford Tigers will look to again exploit the Leeds defence. This time swinging the ball wide to Minikin. And he is held just short of the try line, Greg Minikin. Metaltia. Watts. It's good defence this time. On their own try line though. Petteru with the tackle. Now it's Corey Aston. Truman now. Truman back on the inside comes Chase Blair, and Blair using his strength, but he's met by Petteru. Callum Watkins it is with the tackle. So they change direction. Aston's ball butting on delightfully, but that's great work. That's the turnover. But that was great, even better from Leeds.
That was great defence, that, from Harry Newman. Just have a little look. He gets off the line. He gets in Metaltia's eye line, and he forces him to play this ball quick. Look, he can spot the youngster coming at him, and he just wants rid of that ball straight away.
And more importantly, when Harry Newman comes in, his winger Ash Hanley, he follows him, so he takes care and has, if that ball is backwards and it's play on, he makes that tackle. So good urgency from the Rhinos near their own goal line. They'll need to keep that up.
Richard Agar will be happier with that. Some intensity from his side.
I think he'd be happy as well. The fact that there was, while we watched that replay, then all 13 players came around high-fiving one another, recognising that they'd held out their opponents, defended near their own line, and that's a little success.
Here's Petteru now. Leeds back on home soil. They've spent a lot of time on the road this season while Headingley was being rebuilt, and they've got the majority of their remaining regular season games at home. So that is a benefit to them as they look to extricate themselves from the problems they're in. Crowd appeals for a high tackle on Dwyer. It's the last anyway, and Myler finds a bit of room to hoist a kick. It's a good one. It's dealt with by Matenti. Too strong.
Well, just too much on that. Now they've got 7 tackles, haven't they? Peter Matenti didn't tap the ball on the cross, you can see.
Well, actually, wasn't it one of his players offside?
Yeah, one of his players didn't get back behind the 20-metre line.
Technically, then the rules are that the Leeds should get possession, don't they, there?
Yeah, the interpretation now is just tell them to stop and start again.
You can have another chance.
You can.
First. Move, Brad! That was me. Wait.
Was it Mike Meakin coming back?
2.
You could regulate the speed of the game if the players played to the rules and we applied them, but nobody seems to be interested in doing that.
Hang on, he's at a high horse, I can see. Just
stood
being
down
mounted.
off it, just got off it quickly.
Move, Trent! Hold up, go for.
Matt Cook into action.
Last. Move,
So is Jake Truman,
Go last.
reigning young player of the year. McShane puts a little kick in, and Sutcliffe, operating at full-back, is there to gather.
He made sure he had control on that when he was going into that tackle, didn't he? Liam Sutcliffe. Again, just look how physical this Castleford side are. Mike Meakin leading the charge, then all of a sudden there's some readjustment that's needed. A couple of the Cas players jumping across each other.
It's a hobby horse, isn't it?
Leeds need a horse here now to make some inroads in this line. Merrin has a goal. Castleford's defence very strong in the middle.
They're very tight, very compressed, Castleford Tigers. If Leeds Rhinos are going quick and close to the ruck they're being dealt with. Last tackle.
Wow,
It's Cameron Smith putting the kick in.
Yeah, passed the ball to the wrong man, didn't they, at that point? Interesting change here. Matt Parcell comes on for the last few weeks. Whoa, that's a dangerous tackle, I'm afraid.
Watkins has upended Greg Eden.
I'd like to see that again. So he hits under the ball.
He's a head and neck in a dangerous position at that point, Barry.
His back's flat, his head's up, Phil. It's the head and the hips, that's the ruling, isn't it? If you're going to talk about ruling, is the head below the hips?
Yes, mate.
Well, I mean, there's clearly a lift there, but it does come down horizontal.
He's tackling him.
He does come down horizontal, but it's still a dangerous tackle. You know, he's put in a dangerous position by tackling him in that way. So I think
It's
this
a
will be a
hard
penalty.
tackle.
Whether it's taken any further will be a different matter.
Most players are put into dangerous positions whenever they've been hit on the rugby field, aren't they? And Callum Watkins just looks to dominate Greg Eden. He comes down on his back. Look at that first contact from Richie Myler, then that one from Callum Watkins.
I think we all accept, though, we've got to do everything we can to make sure we don't see serious spinal injuries in rugby tackles.
I agree, Phil. That's just an out tackle.
I'm not just saying it, yeah.
You've
So
lifted him,
that's a penalty, isn't it?
position. It's 10 minutes.
Chris Kendall is going for the pocket. And Callum Watkins can't really believe that decision.
Well, that's the reaction of Callum Watkins. I agree with Phil. Nobody wants to see any serious injury. Of course we don't, as players, as ex-players.
And for the last few years, that tackle gets sin-binned. Paul McShane was sin-binned when we watched him at the Tigers at the start of last season. Round 1, we saw him, similar tackle, goes off for 10 minutes. It's what happens.
My understanding is the hips have to go above the head, or the head below the hips, so therefore the head is facing down. The flat of the back.
Well, I think if you slow it down to a really fine detail, you probably see that his shoulder hits the ground first, and that's probably what the video referee is acting on.
So Leeds down 2-12 for the next 10 minutes. And that ball has been batted down. Castleford Tigers get another 6. They might not need them, because James Clare is in possession, cutting infield.
And they're in scramble mode here now. They need some composure defending the try line.
Merrin in the thick of it. He was angry about that sin binning. Watts now. You saw his reaction as Watkins left the field. But Leeds have some defending to do here now. Through the middle comes Matt Cook.
Hold. Go to.
It was Merrin clinging onto his ankles. Truman, long ball over the top, and Eden is in. Greg Eden gets his 11th try of the season. The man recalled to the Castleford Tigers side tonight. Profits from that sin-binning of Callum Watkins. The Castleford Tigers go to a 10-2 lead.
Well, with the Rhinos a man down, there will be some space, and the Rhinos chose to leave that space on the edge. And Greg Eden, after a long ball, we'll have another look at this tackle. Callum Watkins, the captain of the Rhinos, goes into the sin bin. Yellow card. And when the Rhinos are in defensive mode, Ash Hanley, who puts that left hand out, touches the ball. The Castleford Tigers get 6 more tackles, and you can see this is just simple numbers. The space is on the outside, and Greg Eden, hugging the sideline, holding his chalk, is good enough to catch that ball just a touch high over his head and gets it down. That's Tigers' second try.
You've got to leave the space on the edge. You don't want them to come through the middle of you. And if there's a team in Super League that will find the players on the edge, it's Castleford. The way that they throw the ball around near their own try line, if they get up the other end, they're going to do exactly the same.
So Eden has his revenge after being on the end of that tackle, and Matautia lands the conversion from out wide, his 21st successful goal kick, and the Castleford Tigers lead by 12 points to 2. Richard Agar unmoving, but must be frustrated by what he's seen.
This pass, Bill, is absolutely brilliant. If Jonathan Thurston or Andrew Johns had thrown that pass on this ground, we'd have been saying it was a world-class delivery. What Jacob Truman does there, just spot, OK, there may be space, but that is absolutely brilliant. It's a world-class pass there to a player to set up points.
Eden profiting from the work of 20-year-old Jake Truman, who is really outstanding this season. The reigning young player of the year, Truman. Of course, Luke Gale out long-term. Truman in a position of responsibility, and it's astonishing the way he stood up to that.
Hasn't he stepped up? Yeah, he takes the game, whichever game he's in, by the scruff of the neck. Luke Gale, Shenton, Brad Jinks just at the side of those 2 senior players, almost got in this 17-man squad. He was 19th man. A lot of good work being done in the Castleford development system. But, Bill, here's a test for all the commentators out there now. On the field for the Rhinos is Ava Senu Manafanai.
See you, Manafanai.
I was just going to say, you even got it wrong.
See you, Manafanai.
He's been working on it all day as well.
Working on it since he started.
The high kick has come down for Chase Blair, and Chase Blair has given it straight to Liam Sutcliffe. That's a let-off for Leeds.
It's a good demonstration of what Castleford do. They contest the kicks. They don't just the ball come free. There'll be a penalty, I think, for stealing it with more than one man in the tackle.
You think that they needed that as well? The Rhinos, they've really struggled to make yards going forward. Adam Milner had hold of that ball along with Paul McShane. Just in a decent position to take this pass from Blair. Well, the last couple of weeks we saw Paul McShane struggle, leave the field with his ribs. If I was one of the Leeds forwards, I'd be picking him out every time I had the ball. Any time that he was around me, I'd be running straight at him.
Leeds with just a penalty goal to show for their efforts so far. Chase Blair was hanging around there. The Leeds supporters felt they should have had a penalty. Nothing coming. Singleton wrestles his way to the ground. Here he is. Have a see you, Manafanai. Have a some of that.
It's getting a bit niggly, this game now. Some of the big men in the middle, a few shoulders, a few forearms getting put in.
Can Leeds turn the tide here? Parcell is on. Here is Callum McClelland, once of the Castleford Tigers club, making his Super League debut in this game. Myler lofts a kick, but too strong. Matautia had time underneath that one.
Well, he does a decent job. As soon as he catches that ball, he knows he's got to get to ground straight away. Donaldson was there along with his teammates to try and push him over the line.
Well, he's disappointed because they don't contest the kick. It's too easy a catch for a fullback like Matautia.
Richard Agar in the hot seat following the departure of Dave Furner, whose tenure was terminated after this disappointing season so far. Agar was working on the development side of things for the club. Finds himself in the hot seat. Here is Corey Aston.
Getting some decent defence from Harry Newman.
McShane, Matautia launching a kick downfield, but it's into the arms of Sutcliffe, and he's urged to counter-attack.
Well, they just need to get a win at the play the ball, don't they? Ash Hanley coming in, trying to get forward, along with Tom Briscoe. There's a lot of willing workers in a Rhinos shirt. They've just got to do it together as a side.
McShane.
The formation of the Leeds side there, they stood almost all behind the play the ball. There's Donaldson out here on the left. It's terrible shape if you want to try and threaten your opponents.
Parcell, here is McClelland. Trent Merrin now. Merrin a little spin. Watts, Aston, McMeekin doing the tackling. Parcell, change of direction from Matt Parcell, then goes across the field. Cameron Smith now, Myler, doing all the directing and then doing the kicking. And it's claimed by James Clare.
That's another poor kick. Easy for the fullback to handle. Not enough hang time. And probably a little bit too far. Given his time again, Myler will probably try and get it 5 or 10 metres further infield.
Here's Minikin. Castleford threatening. You get the feeling that there's somebody out there waiting to show Leeds a clean pair of heels. Matt Cook, and they've got the players to do it, but Cook has lost that ball. It was stolen again.
Straight in front of the referee, wasn't it? Chris Kendall having a little look at that rub. Matt Parcell's the man who's penalised. As Cook's going to ground, you can see there's arms all over it. His left hand has a little tug of the ball. Just over the halfway line now, the Rhinos are going to be under some pressure.
And they're still playing against 12 men, aren't they? Can they take full advantage of that?
They're going to keep battering away. Watts takes the first drive. And he's slow to get to his feet for once. Callum Watkins still waiting for his chance to come back. About 15 metres out. Here is Corey Aston now. Aston, Minikin skipping back in field. Greg Minikin. Nice weaving run. Aston swings the ball out. Milner, booming pass from Milner for Eden, who tries to go on the outside. Briscoe and Myler celebrate. Eden looks dejected.
Good defence from Tom Briscoe. Look, he just backs off, buys a bit of time. He's waiting for Richie Myler to come in. Someone's got to cover Chase Blurt. So Tom Briscoe, when he gets confronted with Greg Eden, he buys that time by just backing off, and at the right time he goes in to effect the tackle.
It was better work from the inside from Leeds. You could see as he passed that ball, Jake Truman, he collected a defender, and because the Rhinos were up quick, I think it was Siu Manafanai who puts pressure on the halfback, passes early, and that's the reason Briscoe could get out there and make that tackle.
Here is Briscoe. Callum Watkins is back on the field, so Leeds have a full complement. They have, though, conceded that try to Eden, converted by Matautia, which has given the Castleford Tigers this 12-2 lead.
Good speed at the play of the ball, and that's what you want as a big front rower.
Signed on a 2-year deal from Cronulla, Siu Manafanai.
Last. Move, Jesse. Hold. Go last. Okay.
Callum McClelland hoists that kick. And James Clare is underneath it.
That's a better kick, though, isn't it? When you watch that in flight, you know it's twisting, it's turning. I'm not a big fan of the end-over-end kicks that Richie Myler's put in on 2 occasions. Too easy for that back three. of Castleford Tigers, Matauti, Clare, Eden. They were stretched on that one.
Half-time approaching as Mitch Clark gets into the action and always makes an impact, has certainly been making an impact this season. Jesse Seni-Lefeo, first half try scorer then for the Castleford Tigers. Here is Chase Blair. Blair, strong centre presence on that left edge for the Castleford Tigers. Truman, little kick into some space there, but Sutcliffe well positioned.
Anytime they get the ball 20 metres from Leeds' right-hand side, they'll always go that short side. You can see that Paul McShane always isolating the defence, looking who's there, looking who's a late retreat.
He's tapping him in. Go to Tom. Get your hand to yourself.
Hanley now leads, desperately trying to make some forward progress. Hounded. Harry Newman now. Newman, great break. Newman's looking for some support. Watkins arriving. Callum Watkins just back on the field. Oh, get the pass to Parcell.
Well, he was up, wasn't he, Matt Parcell? And when the initial break came about, Harry Newman couldn't get the ball to Parcell. He gave it to Callum Watkins, who was then hunted down by great Castleford defence.
I think Parcell was in front of where he needed to be. Was that the problem? They'd blown it. The pass from Watkins had to go behind him. Otherwise, it looked to me like a forward pass. I guess we'll take a bigger look at half-time here.
Anguish on the terraces, anguish for Richard Agar, and Kevin Sinfield sitting alongside him.
What a break from the youngster, though. Again, going that short side, picking out Richie Myler.
Seni-Lefeo left to Myler on the deck. Here's McShane, that's the fifth tackle. Matautia, and then Truman knows the state of the game as far as the clock goes, puts that one into touch.
Well, Paul McShane's just trying to line up Jesse Seni-Lefeo on Richie Myler, and that's what the target must be for the Castleford side. Have a little look at this break from Harry Newman. He's got a big future in the game. Look at his power. As soon as he gets through, he knows that he's got support. It's which man he gives the ball to, and again, you know, you look back on that, and the youngster will look back on that. When he throws that ball, if it's a double pump, probably Peter Matautia falls for the dummy, and there might have been space in front of him.
So first big chance for the Leeds Rhinos.
Time off, tackle one. Time off.
Play held up.
Well, Tom Briscoe, I think it is, who's going to be receiving treatment here now from the physio and the doctor. When he goes down, does he get caught underneath the tackle and the weight from Milner and McShane?
Matt Parcell appealing for something there. It's hard to see.
The mechanism of that would make me think there's one of those crusher type tackles where the head ends up in the armpit or underneath the body of a player, and the weight of the defender goes right down the back of the neck. Let's have a look here.
Yeah, probably about here where you are there, Mitch.
Difficult to see again on that. Is it the... Well, it's difficult to see, isn't it?
Can't see any foul play in that at all, can you?
No.
Nice try.
But it's left Tom Briscoe on the deck.
And he's a tough player as well, isn't he, Tom Briscoe? Returns the ball with interest. Not afraid of running into those bigger defenders in the middle, and Richard Agar. Well, I'm sure it'll be a positive dressing room. They've had the chances in that first half. They've broke Castleford a number of times, just need to buy some land up the other end of the field, and Kevin Sinfield, he knows as well that he was after character, he was after desire and a determined team. Well, I think he's got that from his side.
He was asking his side to give themselves a chance by not giving those penalties away, not making mistakes in important parts of the field. And Darryl Powell, Kevin Sinfield just sharing a word.
Briscoe back on his feet. Half-time approaching. The Castleford Tigers ahead, but in control of this game. And Leeds have given glimpses of what the stand-in coach was hoping to see. Mitch Clark going in low there on Trent Merrin.
Yeah, I don't like them sort of tackles.
Donaldson going right with the last play of the first half. James Donaldson trying to get on the outside. Daryl Powell striding back to the dressing room to meet his players. Well, it's an improvement from the Castleford Tigers after their disappointment last time out. That cup defeat is an improvement of sorts from the Leeds Rhinos, but they trail. Big night at Headingley. Shiny new stand opened. Big crowd. They want a big performance, but it's come from the Castleford Tigers so far. Orders as their side once again struggles to make headway in a Super League game. 10th in the table, Leeds going into this game, looking to get a bit of traction. Not getting any traction from the restart.
Well, Ledsky didn't get any change out of that tackle from Clark, who again's involved, the number 21. Physical start to the second half from him.
Mitch Clark protesting his innocence, saying he's trapped under Trent Merrin. Merrin protesting that it should have been a penalty. Here's Sia Manafanai.
Well, that's what he wants. Nice, strong go forward.
That's good go forward from Matt Parcell.
Well, that's all he needs. He needs that quick play the ball to exploit that defence around the ruck area. Here goes Ledsky again.
Ledsky through the middle. He needed somebody on his shoulder. That's the 5th tackle. But Leeds starting the second half with purpose, and Callum McClelland hoists the kick. Matautia is underneath that.
Well, don't sit back and wait for that play. That was a brilliant drive from Mikołaj Ledsky. Spotted that space behind the ruck, and he went straight for it.
What a first set of 6 by the Leeds Rhinos. Earned good meters, got a kick away. And Castleford Tigers working the way upfield now, completely take the point on board that the lads are making about the Rhinos going tight to the ruck. A little bit more width from that ruck, away from those 2 or 3 tight defenders, might give them some more reward.
Chase Blair plays the ball. Here's Milner. Mitch Clark now. Plenty of speculation about where Mitch Clark might be playing his Super League rugby next season. As Corey Aston launches that one into the sky. Liam Sutcliffe underneath it. No sign of Tui Lolohea making a return. Injured in the first half of this game.
Nice work by Ashander then. 10 metres gobbled up, although they dealt with the stand-in full-back Liam Sutcliffe pretty well, Castleford. That's what they do well. They put the kick high, they chase hard and get good line speed.
Briscoe. 4 tackles gone. Here is Myler now. Myler to McClelland. McClelland. Short pass to James Donaldson. And Parcell. McClelland's kick, but comfortable for Matautia. Again, it's been too comfortable for Matautia for most part tonight. Let's see what the coaches had to say at half-time. We get the half-time news from Angela Powers.
Well, not a very happy Richard Agar for Leeds Rhinos, to be honest. He says their kicking game has been well off, and their yardage defence he's not happy with as well. 2 areas he wants to see big improvements in. They're marching us down the field too easy, he says. They need to find a bit more energy with the ball as well. Turn up for each other in attack. And the bad news for them as well is they've got no Lolohea this half. He won't be coming back. Now, Castleford with Daryl Powell, he's much happier. Let's keep doing what we're doing, he says. Finish the sets a bit better in attack. He reckons we could do that. And the kicking game needs to be more positive in there when they're in attack as well, but play a bit more direct maybe, but other than that, quite happy.
Here's the kicking game from Corey Aston. Sutcliffe underneath that one, and Sutcliffe is lifted by Paul McShane.
Well, Paul McShane, not the biggest, he always gets underneath the man who's carrying the ball. And this hits under the ball and looks to turn into legal tackle though.
That ball's stolen. McMeekin gets it away, and it's James Clare.
Well, stripped from Harry Newman. As he goes into that tackle, it was one-on-one. Again, it's coming out in Cass's favour.
And it's back with the Tigers, with Mitch Clark.
Well, he gets through, and then Mike McMeekin just strips it. The strength from McMeekin then.
Thank you very much, says McMeekin. Here is another former London player, Matt Cook, once a captain of the London Broncos. And Castleford Tigers rolling forward now. Rolling forward with Jesse Senilafeo. There is no doubt about that one. His second of the game. Clear as daylight. And Daryl Powell's side have hit Leeds early in the second half. Jesse Senilafeo takes his tally for the season to 6. Richard Agar's men have got a real battle on their hands now, because once again Castleford Tigers' power up front has caused problems.
Well, they get the ball from this strip on Harry Newman from Mike McMeekin, the big powerful back rower. They're causing some Leeds Rhinos some trouble. Down here you can just see that Richie Myler, he goes up, you've got Callum Watkins sitting in the pocket, backing off. He just spots that the pass is going to go to Jesse Senilafeo at the last second, and he just can't adjust to get to it.
He does a lot of work before he receives the ball, Jesse Senilafeo. He goes to the defender, so when the defender then glances to the ball carrier, that's when Senilafeo bounces out and goes on an outward line and seems to stroll into acres of space. Wonderful work before the ball is passed.
Now then, Matautia on target once again. And the Castleford Tigers ominously strong for Leeds at the start of this second half.
Well, I got up very early this morning. I watched every single try that Leeds have conceded in 2019. A lot of them look exactly like that, and unless they're able to stop that happening, there's a good chance that they will be in a very, very serious relegation battle when we get to rounds 28 and 29.
So Sutcliffe restarts. Leeds need some inspiration from somewhere.
Well, the South Stand are trying to lift them out, and they built underneath us. The band's playing, the drums banging, and this man's causing an awful lot of problems, Jesse Senilafeo, every time he gets the ball.
Been impressive, smart with his runs. When he's had to come away from his own line, he's made his meters, he's got an offload in his game, and he's smart, as we've said. 2 tries so far for the big man.
Mitch Clark, tackled by James Donaldson and Trent Merrin. And then McShane's kick deep into the corner, and too strong.
7 tackles for Leeds now. And the 4th tackle, Paul McShane jumps out from dummy half, as he likes to do. He wants to either find the sideline or keep it in field, and he does neither. And the Rhinos now, with 7 tackles in the bank, will try and get as close as they can to the try line.
Plenty of time left, 16 points in arrears. John Wilkin, our studio guest, predicting a margin maybe as big as 18 points. Here's Myler, recalled to the Leeds side, having been left out for that visit to Bradford in the Cup. Cameron Smith plays the ball. Siu Manafanai. Now Parcell. Good run from Parcell. Spotted again.
Always a good sign when you leave a player on the deck, and Manafanai did then.
That was good width from the acting half with Leeds.
Merrin, nice offload to Aletsky. 10 metres out now. Leeds sensing there might be something on for them here. Sensing an opportunity, Watkins, but Eden is there. It's good though. Outstanding from Leeds.
Outstanding defence from Leeds Rhinos. A kick on last play, an unconventional kicker, but on that occasion the Rhinos react to it. Myler passing to the second row, and Cameron Smith will. Well, we saw him twice in the first half, put a kick in. Wasn't perhaps of the highest standard, but 2 defenders get Greg Eden in his own goal, and they've got repeat possession now.
The question for Richard Agar's team is, other than individual brilliance, which they've got with players like Harry Newman, have they collectively got the ability as a team to score a try, to break Castleford down? I'm not sure I've seen it here in 48 minutes. We've got 60 seconds here to show whether they can combine combinations of players, passing, support, offload the ball, finding a way to break through Castleford's defence.
Merrin receiving that goal line dropout. Siu Manafanai. There's a bit of go forward there, isn't there? Merrin and Siu Manafanai.
Just play off the back of it, just tuck the ball under your wing, pick a man out and run as hard as you can. A penalty, that.
Corey Aston, I thought he was doing the tango.
That's happened all night, though, and when the tackle is made, you can see all kinds of stuff going on. I suspect the coaches might talk about how slow the ruck's been this evening.
But there's some speed now from Leeds. Newman.
Wrong option to go that side then, Billy. Had 4 defenders over that, covered the attackers.
Parcell. Kick cross field, and Watkins bats it back. And the Castleford Tigers are able to regain possession.
Leeds Rhinos, according to the referee, have knocked that ball on, so the Castleford Tigers. And Callum Watkins goes up for that kick.
Move, train!
The referee's found a knock-on by Leeds.
Jesse Seni-Lefeu, who eventually diffused the danger. Better set from Leeds.
I think they've had 3 or 4 decent sets in this game. They don't have to score every set of 6, but what they do need to do is get down near Castleford's line.
Well, they get a penalty here.
I'm not calling the tackle complete, Mike.
Well, something's had to happen at the Rocker. I commented on the last set of 6 how there's all sorts going on, and Mike McMeekin, because there's 3 defenders in, he steps over the defender, and that's one of the new interpretations or new rule adjustments that they've made.
That's right, they've got to step back rather than step forward if there's a problem in the ruck.
One great opportunity now for Leeds. 15 metres out from that Castleford Tigers line. They need to turn the tide here. And McClelland. Little step from the former Edinburgh Rugby Union man, Callum McClelland. The ball back to Parcell. Parcell. The Tigers holding their line defensively. And it's Matautia who makes the tackle. There is Callum McClelland, sweeps the ball away to Myler. Myler, short pass, but good tackle, stops Callum Watkins. Cameron Smith now. Myler onto McClelland. And they go to that far side, and Newman dodges the first tackle, gets the pass back in field. Here is Myler. Myler gets it away. Hanley coming across the field. Wrestling with Millington, gets it to Siu Manafanai. And he's thrown to the ground by Truman. Punching above his weight there. Here's Myler. Myler pass. Parcell! Under the post. And a lifeline for Leeds. Talk about a patient build-up.
Well, it looked disjointed, didn't it? It looked disjointed. And the Leeds Rhinos at the back end of the set of 6. Here's the penalty. Mike McMeekin steps forward, and the referee awards the penalty to the Leeds Rhinos. Richie Myler going back around that middle area, steps off that right foot, finds his hooker with an offload. But there isn't much in terms of organisation for the Rhinos. That's an instinctive offload. It's an instinctive play. They will need a general to step up and take control when they're in good field position.
I agree, Barry. It was frantic play from the Rhinos. Offloading the ball. There wasn't really any organisation. Then all of a sudden it's a piece of brilliance from Matt Parcell, who gets over the line and profits from the offload from Myler.
The conversion from Sutcliffe. Leeds 8, Castleford 18.
There was a question mark whether that was an offload. Jacob Truman thought it was. He got up and asked the question. Referee said play on, and that's what exactly Leeds did. They went into an hot game of hot potato, and it really paid off for them here. don't recall exactly how many times he kept this ball alive with passes and offloads, but it was almost as if you can't die in possession, it's impossible here. And the effort to keep the ball alive stress-tested the Castleford defence to such an extent that on the very next play, players were out of position, there were enough gaps and holes for Myler and then Parcell to take advantage. Players back out, and certainly here now with 10 points behind, they've given themselves a lifeline.
Matt Parcell coming up with his 4th try in 5 Super League appearances.
I'll just run forward here with support. 3 strong carries and 3 strong tackles as well. Again, it's a quick play the ball from Oletsky.
Again, it's Parcell doing good work. Sutcliffe stumbled, McMeekin able to pounce. Leeds building up a bit of momentum here now. The crowd urging them on. James Donaldson across the field. Cameron Smith. The ball to Briscoe. Briscoe puts his foot to the floor, heading for the corner until Paul McShane stops his progress. 5th tackle. Myler bullets a pass to Callum McClelland. He hoists a kick towards that corner. The ball's batted back.
That'll be the turnover. Well, a good set of 6 from the Rhinos, right from the kick-off. When Siu Manafanai carries the ball, he finds his front. 2 or 3 tackles of players getting through contact. And that's the reason they ended up at the right end of the field to put a high kick up. Yet again, it wasn't as organised, it wasn't as perfect as it could be. But the Rhinos on the front foot now, and the Cas Tigers having to work hard to get upfield.
Here's Chase Blair. 15 games in charge for Dave Furner, just 5 wins, including one in the Cup against Workington. Ironically, their home form hasn't been too bad.
Well, it was unlucky, Dave, wasn't it, that the first 4 games were played away from home because of this stadium redevelopment. That's the life in professional sport. You get some good luck and some bad.
1-4 at home. That's the 5th tackle for the Castleford Tigers. And Jake Truman puts a well-measured kick. Leeds appealing that it went out on the full, but
It was perfect, wasn't it, from Jake Truman? He does that so well. He controls the game, particularly at that end of the field. His short kicking game, his game management and game control off his boot is outstanding.
That's an old head on young shoulders. That he knows his side have been under pressure. The go forward from the Rhinos have been getting the defence just backing off. He knows that they just need to refocus, get the Rhinos up near their own end here and see if they can get back to what they were doing in the first half.
Move again! Go on.
So Leeds with some work to do from deep in their own half. Newman it is. Tackled about 30 metres out. Siu Manafanai.
Well, the blueprint for the Rhinos is just the forwards making strong yards, carries, troubling the Castleford defenders every time they're going in to try and take down one of those Rhinos' biggest players. They're getting the heads dropped back.
I'd like to see them mix it up. You see there the benefit of a wide pass from acting half, getting at the C and D defenders when they take it tight, and when they mix it up, going a little bit wider.
Merrin said something. Trent Merrin had a go at the referee. Not the first time in this game, and Chris Kendall is not going to put up with that.
Well, he's shaking his head. He's saying that he was talking to one of the Castleford players, but you've got to make sure you squeaky clean straight on halfway line. Last tackle, give the penalty away. Big set here now for the Rhinos.
Frustration from the Leeds man. Apologies for the language that came through there. But the penalty could be costly. Leeds are right back on their own try line. Castleford on the 10 metres. Here's Watts now. Watts plays the ball, McShane, short pass from McShane, good defence to stop Massey in his tracks. So McShane will try again, this time gives it more width, and Truman will have a go. He's stopped.
He recognised the threat then, Richie Myler, and spotted that straight away.
It's Millington who'll provide the pass, and it's Jordan Rankin who'll hoist the kick, and it's James Clare who'll dot it down and get the try. Jordan Rankin just on the field, putting that ball in a tantalising position, and it was James Clare coming in from the wing to get his 5th try of the season.
Well, on the last player, Trent Merrin, he's appealing to the referee. He wants the penalty right on halfway. Well, he awards a penalty, but it goes in Cassie's favour. And look at this, when that ball goes up in the air, it's young Harry Newman against Mike McMeekan. Jordan Rankin, perfect kick. Look at that, drops it on the line. And the ball goes behind to James Clare. Physical player, isn't he, Mike McMeekan?
What a position Castleford Tigers are in to bring Jordan Rankin in, change the point of attack. All the focus has been on Corey Aston over the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's come in, he's made a huge difference. Jake Truman, we've talked about his quality, but Jordan Rankin with his composure.
Matautia on target again. 24-8, Daryl Powell. A puff of the cheeks.
Well, we'll see the try again here. It's fantastic skill from Castle, but you only need to cast your mind back 60 seconds. And the penalty conceded by Trent Merrin. I've heard comments from people who work at the Leeds club saying that there's a problem with the culture here. Well, I don't know. Trent Merrin's only been here for 6 months, so I don't know how he's adapted to that or contributed. But he certainly conceded a penalty, which has conceded 6 more points, and certainly killed, I think, the hopes of winning this match.
And here's Mike McMeekan. Yeah, the Leeds hopes, which had been rekindled by that try. That's a penalty. Ball stealing somewhere in there.
Yeah, you could see that, couldn't you? There was a congregation of 3 or 4 players. I think he might be the replacement to Manafanai. He has made an impact on this game. He's carried strong, he's defended strong, but involved in that tackle, that collision, the ball comes out. When you see it squirt out like that, there you go. I think Cameron Smith might have had a hand on it as well. You can't be taking short cuts, corner cuts, looking for an easy out. 24-8, that scoreline. Get on with your job, do it properly.
Unhappy times in the city of Leeds for the 2 premier sports outfits. Of course, Leeds United denied a promotion playoff final place by Derby County's magnificent resurgence at Ellen Road last night. And now the Leeds Rhinos struggling here as Chase Blair just leaves 2 Leeds players on the deck and is then brought down on the 10-metre line. He's not the most subtle of players, is the new recruit Chase Blair.
I'm pretty sure Liam Watts in that passing play did a run around it and
with Grant Millington.
What is he playing at?
McShane's little kick. Castleford have it back, 6 to go, says the referee.
Callum Watkins goes down to try and pick up that ball from Paul McShane, drops it. Well, there you go, he's consistent, isn't he, Chris Kendall? He's penalised both sides when they've been in possession of the ball. They're saying something out of turn to the referee.
Well, I think he said, don't lash out like that.
Yeah.
So, not sure what went on there. Obviously pushing away the defender.
So Chase Blair costs the Castleford Tigers a great opportunity and lets Leeds off the hook. Here is Brad Singleton back in the side, having missed the cup defeat against Bradford. Parcell.
More good work from the big man. I like him.
I think the Leeds supporters do as well. See you, Manafanai. It's going to cost a fortune, though, when they buy his shirts. Here's Briscoe coming back in field.
They're going to run out of vowels very quickly.
Beach ball. Go for.
Here's Myler, Singleton, Trent Merrin. Merrin has dropped the ball, and Meakin, I think it is, who's pounced on it.
Well, he was all over Trent Merrin, then he knows that when he goes in, he spins out of tackles, looking to offload the ball.
Matt, you're not square, Matt!
So once again, Leeds cannot maximise the opportunity they had. Here is Matautia.
And just trying to get the Rhinos with speed. Matautia going at the ruck. Good work from Brad Singleton.
Millington, frustration mounting here.
Well, they know that they're running out of time, Bill, and 16 points behind on the scoreboard. Well, it doesn't look like the game's going to be in their favour.
Massey didn't like the tackle from Cameron Smith. Now here's Liam Watts. Watts. Then the kick from Rankin. It's another good one, landing on and around the try line, and Handley has to return it, and does well, Ash Handley.
I thought that was great play, wasn't it? First the skill from Watts to run, pivot and pass the ball so far and so accurately. The kick, the chaser onside, brilliant play by Ash Handley, wasn't it, to recover and get back 10 metres or so from his try line. Good rugby for both teams.
20-metre line it is. Peteru back out there as Leeds try and rescue this game, but it is a big ask now. The clock against them. Cameron Smith it was who was frustrated. Donaldson, Rankin with the tackle. Jordan Rankin back in the side, having missed the last 8 and making an impact. The kick straight down the middle.
And Castleford up the tempo in defence as well.
Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, as Eden breaks, has support on the inside. And the try for Jake Truman will surely settle the issue here. But Chris Kendall has not awarded the try yet. He has now. Checks with his touch judge. And Jake Truman, in support of the break from Greg Eden, gets his 3rd try of this Super League campaign. And Leeds are looking at another defeat.
Well, a solid set in defence, and you can see that when that ball was kicked from Myler, he couldn't find the grass. The back 3 from Casa had closed it down, and Matautia, well, he goes across. They always like to link up with the wingers, and Greg Eden, when he goes through the line, from this ball from Matautia, just have a little look at the speed. Look, he pulls in Callum Watkins, there's space there. Tom Briscoe can't take him down. And then he's got to be controlled, and Jay Truman backing up the middle.
Well, Matautia's positional play is phenomenal. He's in the right place at the right time. I know the kicking game of the Rhinos hasn't been the best, but his positional play and then his ability to weigh up the situation, find the right pass and put the winger away was brilliant.
Another successful conversion from Peter Matautia. Daryl Powell feeling a lot happier about life.
Well, there's a collision at the very end with Matt Parcell and the referee, but I think it's just a pure accident, and there was no way it would have impacted. He couldn't get to Jake Truman at that point. See Parcell just to the left of your screen went to ground, but referee's back up on his feet. He's recovered. There's a 22-point gap here now.
Time off.
Clearly confirms a victory here now. The Tigers are marching back up that table.
I don't think the Rhinos are going to recover now from 22 points behind, and Richard Agar knows that. They go for the short kick-off, though.
0-0.
Castleford Tigers come up with it. Cass heading for their first away win since their victory at London way back in February.
It puts the Rhinos game, the big game that they've got at Magic, into focus against London as well.
Talk about big games. Saturday, 3:15, Sky Sports Arena for the Catalan Dragons against the Wigan Warriors from the Nou Camp Stadium in Barcelona. Astonishing stat emerging that Barcelona themselves, the sporting club, tweeted about that game happening, and tweeted to their 29 million followers. That's right.
That's a lot, though. a lot.
Just hope they all don't want to turn up for the game.
Tezza's got 29.
Here's Jordan Rankin enjoying being back in action. And he's made an impact on his 100th appearance in the British game. That kick too strong.
Well, a rare poor kick from Castleford Tigers at the back end of that set. 7 tackles. He's got the energy in the blue and amber now. Ashanley, he's run strong all night. He looked for work, done a lot of work coming out of that backfield. Trent Merrin's turned up.
For the return equally of Grant Millington, Jesse Seni-Lefeo,
Liam Watts.
Liam Watts has been a constant, but Millington and Seni-Lefeo back in recent weeks. That's been a big boost for the Castleford Tigers, because, as we said earlier on, they made that great start to the season unbeaten and then lost momentum.
Sorry, but I was going to talk about when he brings them back onto the pitch as well. So you bring the big guns back onto the field, and all of a sudden they raise those standards up again.
Although Liam Watts doesn't go off.
They're not gone there.
Liam Watts with his big numbers, his big minutes. He might have had a rotation this evening. Castleford Tigers end up with the ball at the scrum here. Cameron Smith.
Well, he said that it's not stable. He's got to stand up, place the ball down. He's off balance, rolling forward. So he's giving the ball up in the form of a scrum.
Terrible play of the ball from Leeds, coming away from their own line. Cast Tigers with the ball in possession. Been a number of good performers by Castleford. I've been impressed with Jesse Seni-Lefeo. Not perhaps the work rate of Liam Watts. His work rate, his constant threat, hard work, his skills. Such an impressive front row. He'd have to be up there, although Saints have got 2 fantastic front rows in Walmsley and Thompson. I think he's a close second or third.
Ever present this season and named in the England squad. Here is Mike McMeekin, rediscovering his England form. Here is Truman. Millington does the run around. Matautia's pass. Chase Blair looking for his first try. In Castleford colours, not to be.
Good movement from Cass.
Little kick comes in from Truman.
Offside Jordan Rankin there, was in front of the kicker, and you could see what the 2 half-backs were trying to do. Jake Truman kicking into space. He calls for this ball. Just at the top of your screen, you see Jordan Rankin. He sets off too early. Inventive play by Castleford Tigers. With the scoreboard reading as it is, they can afford to try a few things, and Darryl Powell, Ryan Sheridan, Danny Orr, that coaching team that they have, they've very much encouraged that type of play.
No golden point drama this time between the Castleford Tigers and the Leeds Rhinos. The last 2 home meetings with Leeds against Castleford have ended with a winning margin of just 1 point. At Ellen Road last year, it was the Castleford Tigers who won 25-24, courtesy of Luke Gale, and then, of course, Brad Dwyer's career first drop goal separated the sides in favour of Leeds. 21-20 back in March, 7 weeks ago.
This is excellent defence from Castleford Tigers. The Rhinos put in a few passes together, being stretched in defence, but they never look worried.
Peteru. Parcell, try scorer in the second half. The try that gave Leeds hope at that point, but it was quickly extinguished with Peter Matautia instrumental in putting the game beyond the Leeds Rhinos. Another game that's gone beyond the Leeds Rhinos. Worrying times. 10th in the table, and they have a magic game against the London Broncos coming up in Liverpool next Sunday.
That's a massive game for the Rhinos, isn't it? And both of the teams down at the bottom of the table. Obviously, after this performance and last Saturday's performance, they'll be low on confidence. They must get a win if they've any hopes of avoiding finishing at the bottom of the table, but look at this for a kick. Oh, just too much. No, it stays in.
And Hanley has to return it. It was Rankin.
Look at that sign though. Jordan Rankin and backs it up with strong defence. They seem relentless, don't they, in the second half? There was a bit of a wobble when Leeds had a purple patch for 5 or 10 minutes.
Is this more like the Cass of old? The Cass of early season form?
I think we all expect so much from Cass, don't we?
Meakin had a hand in there. Leeds gets another 6.
Cass over the last 4 years wanting to be recognised as one of the top teams in Super League, and they've certainly done that under the leadership of Daryl Powell.
I think Leeds have got to work on the team play, haven't they? There's a lot of really enthusiastic runs forward of the ball. Harry Newman's amazing when he gets it in his hands, but there isn't much collective threat.
Myler's short pass.
Still 2.
The offload from Brad Singleton it was. And here's Liam Sutcliffe. Losing Tuilolahea very early in the game hasn't helped the Rhinos, disrupted things with Sutcliffe having to drop back into that full-back role. Here is Ash Hanley, Matautia trying to get a grip on him. Hanley does well. Hanley puts the kick in, and Eden goes back together. I beg your pardon. It's Minikin who goes back together.
Does so well, doesn't it, to get out of his own in-goal. An ad hoc pass, kick from Ash Hanley, who finds himself with the ball, dabs it behind the line. Outstanding work in the backfield from Greg Minikin. I think Daryl Powell over recent weeks, he's somewhat shielded his side. When they've lost games, he's said, I'm happy with the effort, we're missing some players. I'm happy with their attitude. He wasn't happy last week in the Cup against Hull, and he told them, and he's got a good response from his players this week.
There is the Castleford Tigers coach, once, of course, in charge at Leeds.
And in the frame as well, many people.
Everybody's in the frame.
Daryl Powell would be a good fit for the Leeds Rhinos, and I suspect if you went round this stadium and asked the Rhinos fans who they would want, he would get quite a few votes. Daryl Powell, he always does well with what he's got. He makes good players into great players, and he ends up at the shake-up having more wins than defeats.
It's a penalty to the Rhinos. Ball steal there. Leeds looking a shadow of the side that contested the Super League Grand Final just 19 months ago against the Castleford Tigers.
Didn't just contest it, Bill, they won it, didn't they? That's the amazing thing. They found themselves here now relying on individual lads like Newman here. Try your best. So far they've fallen. We're at the halfway point in this season. There's a long way still to go, but they need to rebuild the confidence and belief. Almost need to bring a comedian in, I think, to try and make it fun again, because there's so much pressure, expectation on them. They are a big club with that history behind them John Wilkins spoke about. McLennan goes through, offload, unlucky for them. Referee says first knock on.
Again, I'm going to say it, there's a lot going on in the ruck, in the wrestle. Brad Singleton, Jesse Senilafeo.
Okay, mate.
It ends up being an offload, almost going into the hands of Mikolaj Oledzki on that occasion. Callum McLennan, a lot of pressure put on him. Made his debut last week in the Cup, making his league and home Super League debut this evening, being asked to do a lot. Lots of potential in that young player.
Well, there's a player with potential feeding that scrum. Jake Truman, another outstanding performance from him tonight. Here's Chase Blair. Seems to be getting to grips with this Super League game, doesn't he?
Big man on the edge, on the fringe, is the secret and the success of every team. Greg Minikin, another man with footwork and speed.
Newman with the tackle. Clare. Here's Jesse Senilafeo. Big game from him tonight. 2 tries.
Well, Brad Singleton and Senilafeo come together. That's why he went hunting for him then. Brad Singleton.
That's a ball steal, penalty to the Castleford Tigers.
Mate, it's as clear as you're going to get.
They don't help,
It's as clear as
themselves, do
you're
they?
gonna
Obviously, in this second half, everything's been against them, and Petteru in front of the touch judge, just 15 metres from the sideline. There's a penalty away as Kevin Sinfield and Richard Ager make their way down from the stand.
Jordan, I said. On the
So
line.
the Castleford Tigers have averted the prospect of a 5th consecutive defeat in this game.
Go.
And have they turned the tide? They're getting players back from injury.
Wait.
And they're looking for a big second half
Come on, Brad.
to the season. And they've got revenge for the heartache they suffered on this ground in March
Go to.
in pretty emphatic way, certainly in this second half. There could be more points here. Truman just decided not to give that one.
He saved a couple of tries, Tom Briscoe, for me in this game.
Play that. Okay.
And Leeds have saved another one there.
Well, Nikolai Aletsky puts his foot out there. He spots the kick, the danger man, Paul McShane, who comes out. And he gets his foot on the ball and manages to drop down as well.
That's another penalty. This time it's Milner is the culprit.
Can Leeds finish here now with some positivity, maybe even a try? That would certainly give them a spring in the step. It would give the supporters something to shout about. Long ball going wide here. Might as well try the luck here, keep the ball alive. Petteru clamped.
Nate Petteru can't get the pass away because of the attention of Jesse Seni-Lefeo. Singleton with a strong run, but the Castleford Tigers with strong defence.
Well, he set his target on Jordan Rankin, but was pushed back by Jordan Rankin and Minikin. And you look at that, young McLennan, he's looking outside, no one's running onto the ball, no one's offering themselves. And Donaldson, he's hit by Minikin. And shoulder contact there from Minikin.
Rankin as well. Was it Rankin?
I think there's high,
That's enough. That is enough. That is enough.
It's just a little slap, a grab round.
Your definition of a slap is very different to other people's definition.
Well,
of a
that
slap.
arm, I would imagine that the tackle from Minikin when he come in and jammed him, that would have hurt more than the arm.
Here's Nate Petteru. There's the hooter. Last play of the game. The kick too strong. Eden. That's job done. That's plenty to think about for the Leeds Rhinos, and that's satisfactory for Daryl Powell, Kevin Sinfield and Adam Cuthbertson on the sidelines. Dejection from Nate Petteru and the Leeds Rhinos. It was a big night here at Emerald Headingley. Great hopes that they could put on a show in front of the new North Stand. It hasn't turned out like that because the Castleford Tigers have come through their own rocky patch and emerged with a strong win. 30 points to 8. They've dominated this game, really. And Jesse Seni-Lefeo has been a dominant figure. The Leeds players, not a lot to smile about for them. But for the Castleford Tigers, there's the prospect of building into the second half of the season. Outstanding performance from a number of the Castleford Tigers players. It'll be interesting to know who's got the Man of the Match awards. Luke Gale still working his way back to fitness and having to watch a lot of rugby league. Michael Shenton, the team captain, likewise. The Castleford Tigers, though, seem to be, on tonight's evidence, capable of having a strong second half to the season with players back.
Yeah, well, Liam Watt's saying before the game that every couple of weeks the players seem to be going down and then it's changing, there's no consistency.